If I can just kind of give an overview of what people should think about, it's what would your child want to do, and give it lots of time to try and sort out the kinks. Some things that might be thought of as an issue aren't actually an issue if you can have a conversation. Victoria Foster. I am a staff lawyer in the Family Law Office at Legal Aid Alberta. So I think it really depends if they have a parenting agreement or a parenting order. So if they have an agreement or an order, obviously that should be followed. If they don't have that, then it's important to try and have discussions as early as possible. Try and have your plans ready, kind of what it is your schedule is going to look like, what you're hoping for, so that if you do come across differences or disagreements, you have time to kind of sort those out before summer is upon us. We all know kind of kids are off school July and August. That's not going to change for us anytime soon. So as early as possible, as early as people can get their time confirmed off from work, if that's January of that year, perfect. You have the time to start talking about it and trying to negotiate. And then again, if you can't agree, you've got the ability to have the time to have somebody make that decision for you. Usually we say May 31st is really when you should have your dates kind of agreed upon or at least proposed. If they get along well, then that's great, and they can just do that as informally as they want to. So if there's nothing written and they don't get along super well, then they can try mediation. That's going to be the best thing after them just agreeing to something. Mediation is going to have a third party there facilitating a conversation and hopefully getting to a resolution. If that doesn't work, then of course the next kind of step is to go into court. So it really depends on the parents. Typically, the more information, the better. Certainly dates, contact information. So just so that somebody can get a hold of their child during the time they're away. If something was to happen to their child, like if there was an accident or something, at least the other parent will know where the child was. If you're traveling kind of outside of the province or outside of the country, then an itinerary is best, including not only dates, but if you have flight details, hotel details, just again, as much information as possible. Person traveling should have a notarized travel letter signed by the other parent that says these are the dates that I allow my child to travel with this person, passport information, and it's kind of like that itinerary that should have been given to the other parent anyway. It includes where they're going, what hotel, for example, they're staying at, that type of thing. We always tell people that parenting orders are kind of the fallback, where if you can't agree otherwise, then you have this piece of paper that's telling you and dictating how it should go. So they can make arrangements even with an order to switch up time or to have makeup time. But if they can't agree on that, then it has to be what's in the order. And if they don't have an order or some kind of agreement, and then they don't agree and it overlaps, and they're probably going to end up in court. So if somebody says no because a parent is traveling somewhere that's, for example, not a signatory to the Hague Convention, which is the law that deals with abducting children from their home country, or if they're traveling to a country that there's a government advisory where our government says, travel should be restricted to this country because of a safety concern, that's probably going to be a reasonable reason for somebody to say, no, I don't want you traveling with our child. If it's just because they're being difficult, really the end outcome is if they say no, you're going to be back in court to get a judge to permit you to travel without the other parent's consent. So having a mediator involved, which can be helpful, even if parents don't think that they can resolve it just between the two of them, it can be helpful to have that third party facilitator who's neutral and has who can help them come up with options. If that's not successful, then there is arbitration, which is kind of like private court. So you're not going to court. The rules are different. It's a little bit less formal than court, but you're still going to have somebody making a decision on your behalf. But it can be expensive to do that because you're paying for a private judge, essentially. I think it's really putting your own ego to the side, putting your conflict with the other parent to the side, and really just trying to think like, would my child enjoy this? Is this going to be an enriching and fun experience for my child or my children? And if the answer is yes, then figuring out how you can make that work, how you can accommodate that, whether you can be flexible with your own plans or be flexible with the normal parenting schedule, and really just think, is this something my child's going to make memories doing? And then following through on that.